Inna ma'al usri yusra, inna ma'al usri yusra. Verily with difficulty comes ease, verily with difficulty comes ease. Now, I'm just going to take a show of hands. I mean, how many of you feel like the khutbahs and the lectures in the last 2 years have revolved around this concept? Have you all heard a lot of khutbahs about difficulty? Yeah? Okay. One of the things that I see with this discourse is that a lot of this comes down to whether or not you're going to apply some of these basic concepts from the Prophet ﷺ in regards to how to show sabr. You know, if you think about it, at the end of the day, when you're talking to someone that's going through a hardship, it's a lot easier for you to find the words to give to them than it is for you to actually express them in a heartfelt way when you're in the midst of a difficulty. And that's why, subhanAllah, the blessing of simply saying Alhamdulillah, the blessing of simply praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying Alhamdulillah when you are in difficulty is in and of itself enough to build you a home in paradise. It's not this long prayer that you have to say. It's not something that's elaborate or comprehensive. It is one phrase in the midst of difficulty that at the first strike, عند الصدمة الأولى, to say Alhamdulillah is enough to have a home built in paradise called the house of praise. Alhamdulillah. You don't have to do much more, right? It's not complicated. You don't have to sit there and think about what you remember. And you know, it was really interesting when I think about how simple that is and how beautiful it is. I had a friend of mine who was in a really bad car accident. And this is what I think about when I think of this hadith and the simplicity of it. And in the midst of this car accident, when they got to him, they started asking, they said, what's your phone number? And he couldn't remember his phone number, right? Or a phone number of a family member or a friend, right? When you're in the midst of it, there's a level of shock, right? And he said, the only thing I kept on saying was, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So I forgot my phone number. But I didn't forget Alhamdulillah. Because the believer is so accustomed to constant hamd, to constantly saying Alhamdulillah, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you hope that when the test comes, that will be your natural first instinct. But in order for it to be your natural first instinct, it has to be your regular habit. The same thing as this dream that we all have, that Allah takes us saying what? What do you want to be saying when you die? La ilaha illallah. See, all of y'all said it. You want death to get to you while you are saying La ilaha illallah. May Allah give us all that ability to say La ilaha illallah at the time of death. May Allah make it our last words on our tongue and in our heart. You're not suddenly going to come up with La ilaha illallah if it wasn't a regular dhikr. You know, if you think about the Prophet ﷺ, when he says, keep your tongue moist, keep your mouth moist with La ilaha illallah. Keep your mouth moist with La ilaha illallah, right? As a form of remembrance. What a blessing from the Prophet ﷺ to teach us something so simple, yet so profound. Because if you are accustomed, if you train your tongue to when you are walking from place to place, walking to class, going somewhere else, you're saying La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, constantly moving your tongue with it, then when that moment comes to you of death, whether it is sudden or if it is at the end of a long, extended trial, La ilaha illallah will be natural for you because you've made it a habit to constantly say La ilaha illallah. So it's very simple things with huge rewards. To say Alhamdulillah at the time of musibah, at the time of tragedy, guarantees you what? A house of praise in paradise. To say La ilaha illallah at the time of death guarantees you entrance into paradise, because the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever dies and La ilaha illallah is their last words, Dakhal al-Jannah, you will enter into paradise. That's why Allah doesn't give it to anybody. It's a special gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to you. What Muslim doesn't know Alhamdulillah and La ilaha illallah? We all know it.